Hey folks, welcome back to Owlwood South for a new video. We're going to mix a 4-track recording that was made to a Tascam 424 Mark II, and I've just brought it into Luna from the tape machine. And what we have, actually I'll play it for you right fast. These 4 tracks, the first version, click right here on version 1 on all these tracks. I'm going to play this for you and you'll hear a lot of tape noise. Now, on the second version, I used a little bit of Isotope RX to get rid of that noise. It's not totally gone, but it's more manageable. So that's our baseline right now. And so let's start labeling some of these right fast. I know this track right here at the bottom is a drum and bass. They're both on the same track. I had to bounce 2 tracks of drums and 1 bass down to another track. I'm sure most of you remember ping pong bouncing on 4 tracks. So we're going to call this drums and bass. Now this one I know is the Les Paul guitar. And this next one is these are a mixture of different things from a mellotron. And I think this top one is the organ. Yeah, now this one here is organ and flute, but there's something else going on in there. And the organ tapes in my mellotron are so bad, they just sound, they're done. So we're going to use them anyway. I'm going to pull this up about 10 dB maybe. Yep. Okay. Now I think, right, there's 2 different kinds of organs happening here and flutes. So right here in this section, there's an organ and a flute tape bank that's actually played together. And then over here, there's just the organ bank. Same idea down here on this one. There is a flute, solo flute, and over here towards the end, there's a set of strings, I think. Yeah, and that tape bank's pretty good. It's in good shape. Okay, so we're gonna break those up in a second and make those their own little tracks. Hope that makes sense. So what had happened here was on a 4-track, you can bounce several tracks down to another. And once you've done that a few times, you end up having to record separate sounds on the same track. So, you know, it's just like on a DAW when you do a punch in. And that's what's happened over here. Punched in a string section over top of a flute section. Okay, so I'm going to check a few levels here before I start cutting everything up. And let's start with the drums. I'm going to get rid of the Q mix because I don't need that. Okay, I'm going to leave that. That seems perfect. This one here, I think we might end up leaving the same. Let me check over here on this loud section. Yeah, that'll be fine. These I know I had to bring up. That'll work. And so now I'm going to start cutting these into little pieces here on the mellotrons just to make things easier during the mix. That's all flute until I get to this section right here. Yeah, so let's break that. We'll make a new track. Now there's probably going to be a little bit more cleaning up to do, but for right now, let's just go ahead and head over to the beginning of this. Okay, first of all, let me explain what this drum is. This is an old a Roland TR-707, I think it was, and a real kit being played at the same time. So there's one track playing on the drum machine and an acoustic kit being recorded on top of it, and that's bounced down to one track. Okay, so this right here is just a count in. I'm going to keep that part. I'm going to mute the beginning of that. Couple little things here. I'm going to clean up in between these phrases of the flute. I'm going to hit the B key and mute. That's to mute, you hit Command M. Select all of this as well. Do the same thing. Again, I'm going to select all these, hit the F key so that we have fades in between each one of those breaks. Get rid of the beginning of this track where the guitar is. Okay, and same thing at the end. Yeah, I'll just grab these two endings, break, mute, put a fade in, and we're good to go there. Now, let's see here. At the beginning, I'm going to start putting some markers in so I know where I am. Okay, now everything is set up in the arrange page here. I've got my mixer set up to go to the main out, which I'm going to fix here in just a second. I'm going to get rid of these cues here because I don't need them. And I don't know why those are there, but I don't need those either. Okay, so let's set up a mix bus. I'm going to use the Neve summing here. Everybody is going to go to that mix bus. Now I'm going to get rid of all of those view meters. And we're ready to go. That last note that bass plays needs to have some help right here. It's quite a bit of help at the 85 hertz. So let's see how that fits better. Here it is without. Just grabbing the next fundamental up there, or the next harmonic of that fundamental up there and bringing it down a little bit too. Okay, here's something I rarely talk about in these videos, but on the mix bus, in this case, because I'm not going to use a drum or a bass subgroup to send to the mix bus, I'm going to turn this to the low impedance. I'm going to pull this trim down a little bit to compensate for that. And the reason why is low impedance will allow more of that oomph, more of that low end kick and grunt to come through. You can think of impedance as like, you know, if you think of the word impedance, like it's pushing against, you know, like if somebody's impeding your door, right? They're pushing against the door. They're not letting it go through. So the more impedance you have, the more pushback you're going to have, harmonically speaking. So I'm going to put this on the low impedance and just let more through, if that makes more sense. Okay, cool. On the electric guitar, I'm cutting out some of those subs. Don't need them. Cutting out the super highs because we don't need those. And bringing down some of this glassy sound that's happening around the 4K area.